This town has probably got a high percentage of pensioners and retirees here. So they go and pick on the vulnerable. And I think we're easy pickings for these people. All right, come down here, we'll sit down.
In the small rural town of Murrurundi in the New South Wales Upper Hunter, it can be hard to know if you're getting a good deal on solar.
We only ever saw the salesman walking around town knocking on doors. We're at least 100 k's from Tamworth. We're 300 odd k's from Sydney. Newcastle, a couple hundred k's.
John Russell is the full-time carer for his friend Lisa Smith, who lives with chronic health conditions, and they were keen to reduce their power bills.
Lisa, with her medical issues, we run air conditioners, at least 2 of them, 24/7 pretty much. So the power bills were quite high, as you can imagine. So we decided to go and get some more panels.
Last year, a door-to-door salesman from a company called Grand Group told John and Lisa they could add more panels to their existing solar system.
He was making it sound like we were getting a great deal. These seraphim panels or whatever they're called, supposed to be very, very good panels.
The issues are that people don't understand the terms. There's usually an enormous discrepancy between what they think they're paying for the solar system and the total amount of the finance contract. So in some examples we've seen $5,000 become $11,000 or $13,000 become $20,000.
John says the salesman arranged finance for them over the phone with Bright Capital.
I would never have done it had we known what we know now. We would have shown the guy the door.
John and Lisa signed up to pay off the panels in fortnightly instalments of $103 for 4 years. He says while they're making the payments, money is tight. It was only when he was speaking to neighbour Russell Griffiths earlier this year that he began to question the finance arrangement.
My concern is he's paying a lot of money for a very small system. I feel he's been ripped off, and I just do not like seeing people being taken advantage of.
The fact that we were, pensioners and probably to a certain degree naive, and he just took advantage of it. From what I found out from the Sydney company, he said he could have done the job for $3,500 to $4,000 max, whereas he charged us $10,500.
Grand Group says it uses independent contractors, and in John and Lisa's case, a salesman received $4,180 in commission. The company says it wasn't advised Mr Russell was on a carer's pension and was satisfied they could afford the contract. In April, the company terminated its engagement with the subcontractor amid concerns about compliance with policies and procedures.
My message to consumers are, if you get door-to-door salespeople or people trying to sell you a solar PV system over the phone, telemarketers, close the door, hang up on them.
The greatest area that needs looking at is the providing of accurate, detailed information before any work takes place.
Bright says it does not set the pricing or commission structures for any third parties, and it's reviewing the case. John's neighbour Russell Griffiths had a visit from another solar retailer in April. He says a Solar Experts Australia representative encouraged him to buy additional panels using finance with Bright Capital.
They knew that I was receiving age pension. I became extremely suspicious. When they got me to sign the contract, they wanted and sought my bank details.
When Russell saw the contract, he realised it would cost more than double what he originally thought, almost $11,000 for a system he'd understood would only cost $5,100. He cancelled the contract and paid up front. Solar Experts Australia told 7:30 Russell Griffith's system is actually worth $7,500, and after he complained, they gave him a special reduced price to buy it outright. The company says it does not target pensioners and has many happy customers.
We have supported and encouraged greater transparency in terms of buy now, pay later products and services, and we've seen some improvements already in that area.
The federal government's long-awaited review of the rooftop solar sector was released last month and recommends big changes. Solar accreditation and compliance will now be overseen by the Clean Energy Regulator, and retailers and installers will have to make a written statement guaranteeing the performance of each system. Consumer advocates say the review should have gone further.
We need to ban unsolicited selling. We need to get the finance regulated under the national credit laws like all other forms of credit, so that we get clear disclosure, clear hardship rights, access to dispute resolution.
That written statement that retailers will have to make to us, if they don't deliver what the consumer should be delivered, they will be exited from our scheme, but also that will make it easy for the consumer bodies to take enforcement action against those unscrupulous retailers.
Paula Searle cares for her husband, 50-year-old Jason, who acquired a brain injury in a cycling accident in 2017.
Jason's bed runs 24/7 and the aircon, or, the fans go, vaporisers go, everything's, electricity, and I can't afford, being on a pension, the bill.
Paula's priority was to put solar on the roof of their new home in 2019.
And it was like $50-60 a month and pay it off in 5 years. And so that's what I was going for, and that's what I asked for. And then they came back to do it 2-3 weeks later, and then they put something else on my house, and it was a bigger system. I got a system worth 10 grand, and it was about $120 a month, and it was 15 years.
She bought the system through Origin and says she didn't agree to be signed up to the company's Solar Flex finance arrangement. She complained and negotiated a payment, which she says is still difficult.
I struggle, but I just got to get rid of it. It's another bill that I can't do.
They had to move out of their home after it was damaged in a landslide earlier this year, and Paula's still paying off the panels. Origin says it's important customers understand what they're buying before making any commitments, and it didn't meet its own standards in this particular instance. It says it's seeking to resolve the matter with the customer. Business is booming in Australia's solar industry, and there's no sign installations will slow anytime soon. The government is planning a new online tool to help consumers make informed decisions.
We should have done our due diligence. We didn't do that. We should have. We certainly will in the future.
It's certainly disappointing when we hear of customers not being treated fairly by retailers. We also need to remind ourselves the vast majority of customers do have a good experience and are fairly treated as well.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.